Good morning, Joe. First of all, thank you, of course, for your hospitality and for having us in the beautiful Bristol.
My pleasure, and you've been fortunate because today the weather is good. Not too warm, but the sun is shining, so it's a good day.
I'm happy of it. A Scottish, as you are, in England, why you decided to live here after your career as a player?
I think one of the main reasons was that in my career we moved many times, and I finished my career as a player and then I became the manager, and it was for the children really, not to move again, for their education, a little bit of stability, and also the fact that Bristol is a beautiful city, and when my career in management finished, we ended up back here as well because I'm happy here in this part of England.
You chose a street very quiet. You are a quiet person.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of an area in Bristol, right in the centre, but here it's, because of the way it's situated, it's very quiet. There's not many passers-by. You would find it difficult to get here and come to this area.
Do you still watch Serie A or Premier League?
Yes, I do, yeah. I watched the last game at Verona, where they were fighting for survival. I watched the Serie A when there are games on, and I'm quite lucky that I've seen some good games last year.
How do you play just 1 year in Verona and still stay in everyone's heart?
I don't know. I was a bit unfortunate there. I got some injuries, and the team was very good. And there was two strikers there who did exceptionally well. Nano was great, and Iorio was. They played really well, and I found it very difficult to get in. But they deserved their position in the team because they played well. They played consistently. And I had to wait for the opportunity to get into the team, and they made it exceptionally hard for me because of their good play. So it was an experience. I came back to England after that and continued my career. But my year in Verona, off the field, was terrific as well because it was my third year in Italy, and I could understand not just the language, I could speak the language better then, but it was the way of life in Italy that I enjoyed, and Verona was a beautiful city, and the main thing was the friendship in the dressing room. The players were great, the manager was good, and the people where I lived round about. Colignoli, Icoli, that's where I lived, but it wasn't far from getting into Verona, so that wasn't difficult to get in. And my children, they were at the Zelo, and they made some good friends, so it was a good time off the field. I would have preferred it to have played more games, but that, as I say, didn't happen because Galdarese and Iorio, they were very good.
What memories do you have of the season? Because that was the first European season of Verona. This shirt that we are filming today is dedicated to the first European competitions season of Verona. What do you remember about the European campaign?
Well, what I remember of the European campaign is it was good and bad. But I think the players that played, the club that played in that European year, I think they got, other than one or two fantastic results, they gained a belief and the experience of playing in Europe as a team. You know, I would say that in my career, I started my career in England at Leeds United, and we were very successful. And I played with some great clubs. But Verona, what I seen in Verona and Leeds were similarity to the dressing room, camaraderie in the dressing room. It was terrific. It wasn't just that they were good football players. Like Leeds were a team that played in Europe every single season. And we won the championship and played in European Cups. But that came from experience and knowledge. And I think that year with Verona, that first year in Verona in Europe, it gave them the experience and belief, because they went on, the year after I left, they went on and won Serie A. It was important to get that, you know, to get that knowledge.
Yeah, of course. Do you remember the Scottish flag in the Curva Sud?
The Scottish flag?
In the Hellas Verona fans section.
Yeah. You know, they are very vocal, very passionate. But I knew that before I came to Verona, because when I was leaving Milan, I did ask people. I had one or two opportunities, options. But I asked about Verona because I had played in Verona. And I wanted to know. The city was a beautiful city, but I wanted to know about the club. And what I got told in the dressing room at Milan, it was a real good club with passionate and fantastic fans. So when I spoke to Machete, he came to Milan to talk to me. I was very, very keen. I wanted to come. He didn't have to persuade me too much, because I had made up my mind if it was a club what had a future, you know, and I was delighted to get the opportunity.
And then they won the Scudetto.
My last game was the Coppa Italia in Rome, and I left then, but you could see that they were a team that were going to compete. We competed. I think we got a UEFA place in my year, and then they bought one or two good players and brought them in, and they thoroughly deserved that championship. And they proved that they were a team that were going to stay in Serie A. They weren't going to go.
Do you still speak Italian well?
A little bit. I still try to. I practice my Italian. My daughter lives there, and I speak to the players. I speak to Volpati. Maybe every other month, and we keep in contact. And I come to Verona because I love the city. We come and we have maybe a long weekend there. It's not too difficult to get there. And we enjoy our time there. I enjoy the food there. The restaurants are good. The city's good, and we go to the lake as well. We've been there, but when we go to the lake, we get visits into the city of Verona.
You mentioned Ciccio Machetti in Milano that passed away last year. Do you have any memories of him?
Yeah, his job. I think he was a top man in his job. I came to the funeral. He just wasn't a person who I worked with and who worked along with Bagnoli. He was my friend from the first moment I met him, and I kept in contact with him. And I think at one point he became direttore sportivo of Roma.
Yes.
Yeah. And I met him in Rome because I was doing the TV, and I met Ciccio, and he was my friend. Although he was a person who had decisions to make regarding the future of you coming to the club or leaving the club, what he was more than that, he was my friend, un amico.
Can you expect a visit from you
at
Bentegodi this year in Serie A?
Well, certainly me and Judith, we come. You know, it's when we come to there, we like Venice, and we maybe split it up. But we've been there many times. You know, I mentioned to you about my daughter and Judith a couple of years ago. They came and did the half marathon, but that was just an opportunity to do the half marathon, but also to have a little holiday.
So thank you for having us today.
Thank you.